we're pro-life. We want the kid. We want all of this. Okay, well, let me send. Then why is our our adoption agencies so full that you can't get a kid? It costs how much money to adopt a child today?
I haven't looked into it myself.
Yeah, it'll cost you thousands of dollars to adopt a child. And
is that why so many liberals are just going for the foreign jobs instead of buying domestic?
I guess. That's what I'm saying. Why would you? People, well, I went over to China to get a kid. Did you check America? We have lots of kids every year who are always searching for a good home. But then again, we have to watch out for them because some of these parents, they get a certain amount of money. I don't know if you noticed, if you opened up your house and you said, hey, I want to bring in foster kids. Foster kids will get you $1,500 per kid, depending on what his problems are. And if he's a bad kid, all you got to do is pick the phone up and call LAPD or whatever, and they'll come get him. Yeah. It's almost like having if you want to open up a placement, same thing. They don't, anytime the kid gives you any problem, pick up the phone, they'll come get him. Lock him back up. Everybody's in it for the money. It's a shame. Locking up kids is big business. Or you're controlling them in some kind of way. Lawyers, doctors, everybody is getting paid off of this. And our government is getting, and people are getting more money for it. So it depends on, who you're dealing with.
And the world is so upsetting.
Yes.
Oh my God.
That's where critical thinking comes in, because you have to know how to adjust and deal with the everyday deal of what just living in our lifestyle, from our traffic to, waking up, going to work, as I always tell people, go hug a tree. Just go hug a tree just to get the hell away, because you have to. Just to, take a walk on the beach to suck all that negative energy. That's what the beach does. When your feet hit that nice wet sand, it sucks that negative energy out of you to relax you. That's what it's for.
Take a moment and pretend that the campaign chair of the president wasn't involved in the sex trafficking ring.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that is real, and yet it is real. Yeah. Listeners, that is a thing that happened. The president... The campaign chair.
Yeah, I was just looking it up. He was the campaign chair in Kentucky, pled guilty to sex trafficking of minors, 21 counts against 19 victims, and he's going to get the long, well-deserved sentence of 20 years.
Oh.
Nothing.
Right.
20 years. It's just a little more than a year per victim.
He's not going to serve the full 20. That's true. He's going to serve half of that. Felony
trafficking of a minor, felony inducing a minor to engage in sex, and a third count of giving alcohol to a minor. Which, in the grand scheme of things, really that seems like the least.
Do you guys see do you see the conspiracy of why? What is the thing about going after a younger person? Do our young kids today look more adult than they did when you were in school? I mean, when I see a 16-year-old girl today, she doesn't look like a 16-year-old when I was in school. If you look at a young male today, when I was 16, they got kids with full-on beards. I wouldn't even have known. He may be 15, but he looks 25. And there's something about that, because you're catching more and more guys going after... even a young girl today, her period now is at 9.
Oh my goodness.
You got girls that are getting their periods earlier and earlier. There's something to that. Is it the food? Is it what's in the water? What's going on? Because these guys are going after younger and younger people, and
you know what? I honestly, it's one of those things. It snuck up on me because after years of watching shows like 21 Jump Street and Beverly Hills 90210. I just figured everyone in high school looked like they were like in grad school.
Right. No, I work.
No, I know
working
what
at
you're saying.
Working at juvie, I see girls. I do this one. I told this one story, and that a girl came in. She was 17. She looked like Beyonce. she was already built like Beyonce. I mean, at 17.
Well, yeah, I mean, at 17, like, the body is already going to be the same. I mean,
But I was like, they didn't look like that when I was in school. I'm sorry, and I saw a lot, but I didn't see them. It's something to me. It's not like it's something in the food. It's like something in the food. I mean, look at you see these kids.
Well, because and I don't want to jump on any conspiracy theory that I didn't start myself. No. But there is. I think a general lack of research. There is some research into hormones in being used in meat production. For cows
and dairy products.
Dairy products.
Look at the
chicken. Yeah.
Oh. God.
And. So I think it's valid that this should be looked into, and there have been studies, but of course the lobbyists from these mass factory farm companies, and they're buying politicians in their home states. So there are competing studies. There are alternative facts, which have gained new popularity with this administration. Right. You get that. There's studies about the antidepressants in the water because people are flushing their pills, or they're taking so many pills that they're peeing them out, and the water reclamation systems aren't equipped to deal with microscopic levels of drugs in the water supply.
Well, and Flint, Michigan, that's just this thing. If you're going to say water, Flint, Michigan is still, those people are going to jail. They're going to jail for what for what they've done.
They should go to jail.
Yeah. They're talking about it. There's some criminal element to that.
Well, to the hormones in the food, this is anecdotal, so obviously it's not like a scientific study. But my sister, for a little bit, like, one of her boobs was smaller than the other. And that was a thing. And she was very self-conscious about it. She was also vegan. And then she started eating cheese again. And what do you freaking know? They evened out. Which is so creepy and weird. And of course now she's like, sweet, I'm eating cheese all the time. But it goes to show you there is something
this
about
message
the
brought
dairy
to you
products.
by the California Dairy Council.
Yeah.
There's something about the dairy products. So
girl, if you ever have a boob that ain't big, the boob inside, just eat a little cheese.
Well, if that doesn't work, just get a package of like shredded mozzarella and just use that to stuff your broth. It'll warm it up sufficiently. It'll be great to put on, toast. Yeah, it's
if you ever want to make
pre-melted.
nachos spontaneously, fill it with Velveeta.
Maybe it'll help the guys. Guys are looking to have smaller penises. Do you mean if I eat cheese, I might get you? Maybe.
Either that,
or you grow breasts also.
Hey, there you go.
Start courting the ladies. Bring them cheese.
Yeah.
Right.
Blessed are the cheesemakers. as it is written, so shall it be done. And we just have a little bit more time left here, and I want to say. I am a little disappointed in you two. Nobody commented on my T-shirt. I am representing the Jamaican bobsled team.
Oh,
I noticed it.
Well, now they have the Nigerian bobsled team.
What?
So they
cool.
do.
Good for them.
Yeah, absolutely. But the Olympics are upon us, and I do want to remind everyone that if you aren't happy with the results of the 2020 Winter Olympics, you have all the more reason to vote. The 2018 Winter Olympics, that's all the more reason to vote in the 2020 Winter Olympic midterms. So make sure you do that. But I think it's you, Kat, you were saying earlier how the world is depressing, and I do say this with the caveat that, I know it's marketing, but fuck it, let's believe the dream for 8 days, whatever. The way that Pyeongchang got the Olympics was that they marketed themselves to the IOC as saying that the theme of this Olympics would be the Olympics of peace. And these cities get the LA. We already know that we've got it in 2028,
2024 or something like that.
10 years out at least. So how awesome is it that? I'm sure they didn't know things would be this bad, but that 10 years ago, whenever they were lobbying to get the Olympics for their city, that they had the foresight and, who knows, pessimism to say, the world's going to be in such a shit place. We're going to make the theme of our Olympics peace, world peace. We're going to make that. I mean, and granted, not that creative as far as Olympic themes go. It's like Olympics under the sea. Maybe that's more of a Summer Olympics thing. I don't know. But I think it's great that they are making those overtures with the Olympics. And Kim Jong-un's half-sister is there representing the unified Korean team. So, and again, I know it's all marketing, but shut up. Let me just believe this for a little bit. I'm not going to watch the Olympics, but I want to believe it. So, and I can do that by not watching, I think.
There's something positive to be said about the unified Korean team and all of that. I've been listening to a lot of true crime podcasts lately, right? And one thing that I've been learning about, whether it's a evil cult leader like the Jim Jones guy or one of any of those insane, crazy serial killers, is that they don't have a lot of love in their life when they're young, and that breaks their brain. They become crazy monsters. So putting more love out there in the world to people, offering those overtures of peace and unity and warmth, I think that really does help things. And who knows, maybe having that unified Korean team and including North Korea a bit, maybe that does help Kim Jong-un come down. I don't know if that stuff is permanent when that kind of brain damage happens to someone and they turn into a psychopath.
Right. And I mean, it's not a stretch to picture, Kim Jong-un sitting back at his palace going, they're buying it. I can't believe they're buying it. This is great.
Yeah.
But
maybe.
Again, we're selling the illusion.
Maybe.
And I don't know. I mentioned Bill Maher last night. One of his guests was Barry Weiss. She writes for the opinion pages in the New York Times, and their conversation was more about gender and gender politics in relation to what's going on in the White House and defending wife beaters. But one of the things that she said that I thought was interesting, and Tymon, you and I were talking about this a little bit before the show. She was talking about one of the biggest, downfalls of the sexual revolution was that it was teaching people that men and women are the same. And we're not. There's a whole industry of books, written about. God, every hack comic at an open mic. And I, we were talking earlier about, that's code for I was ranting, but about how, human nature is all about looking for the division and the separation. But I think the larger point and the theme and what the Olympics are really all about is recognizing the differences and embracing them rather than using the differences to separate, to, hey, wow, you're different than I am, but that doesn't make us incompatible. Right. In a relationship, I always talk about my theory of compatible crazy. So I've tried dating women who are as crazy as I am. Didn't work. Too much crazy. I've tried dating normal women. Boring, and I really fuck up their lives, apparently. But the idea is you find someone who their crazy works with yours. You can handle their shit and they can handle yours. Mm-hmm. And I think, that's what the Olympics is all about. Nobody wants the box of one crayon. Mm-hmm. You want the 64 crayons. You want all the different colors. Right. And okay, maybe sea green and burnt sienna don't get as much play as violet blue, but things work out. Mm-hmm.
I've always, even we were talking about the Black History Month, I've always felt that to be the universal brother that you embrace so much of what Black people are, from different musicians, whether they're violinists or they're guitar players or they're sculptors, they paint, they do everything, but within that. Within the culture, everybody, as I was saying to UCAT, everybody doesn't get along because you're judging them because you're saying, oh, look at you, you're trying to be white, you're trying to be this, you're trying to be... No, this is just who I am. Yeah, they told me to check the box on the application of being black. Okay, I did that, but this is who I am. Yeah, they have me down as being black, but I'm not like every other black person. Even though I grew up in the ghetto, everybody doesn't eat collard greens and chitlins. I'm sorry. Everybody doesn't like fried chicken. I want to eat some sushi one day. You guys are telling me, I might want to eat some Mexican food. Instead of drinking some Hennessy, let me have my tequila. Leave me the hell alone. But don't keep trying to fit me into the box of everybody else because it doesn't fit that way, I don't tell everyone. Someone asks me, so what are you listening to on your headphones? I don't tell them.